What's going on, everybody? Today, home buyer activities is showing signs of warming up. Pandemic forbearance is running out. We're going to hit the coach's corner, the DMV real estate report, real estate hot or not, then we jumping into the comments section. Welcome to the Real Estate Wire, folks. What's going on, everybody? I'm Dan the Realtor.
Mortgage Coach Marcus.
And today we've got two special guests.
Yeah.
We have the Address real estate team? Address real estate group? What is that?
Just the address.
We got just the address. It's like print. Address. It's like share. It's just share. Just the address. Yo, we got the address. We got Tamara and Nick Bush. What's going on, fam?
What up, y'all?
How you doing?
What up, though?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for jumping on to the pod, man. So tell us really quickly a little bit about your business, then we're going to jump straight into the real estate stuff.
Tell Tamara I'm gonna go. I think you're the better spokesperson to be like, yo.
Tamara is the better spokesperson. I should have just asked Tamara straight up.
Direct questions like that.
Cut out the middleman.
We don't want to hear Nick Bush.
Yeah, no,
Not again. He already made it this second time.
The address. I like how Nick says that we are a movement. We are a movement to people who are motivated and inspired to get into real estate investing, home ownership, building wealth, what it means, what it looks like, how it should feel, the experience when you're with us, when we're going through that journey with you. And that's what we really focus on. We focus on the client, the customer experience, and the knowledge.
And you brought the champagne. We love it. Also, y'all got a podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
The podcast is called Real Estate Explained. It's the better of the two podcasts versus Real Estate Explained and the Real Estate Wire.
Shots fired.
I'm going to edit that whole part out. It will never see the light of day.
Hey, because we can make a bet.
Oh.
We can make a bet. It's just joke on some push-ups.
We can't make a bet. Because you do a lot of push-ups. I think
And I look like I've been doing push-ups.
Excuse me, I don't do push-ups.
Donuts in here.
Tamara does not do push-ups.
All right, Real Estate Explains our podcast. It drops every Friday at 10 a.m. We talk about real estate, the market, what's trending in real estate, and we just kind of give our commentary, our expert commentary on what's trending in real estate locally, nationally, and the vibes.
Who came up with
And we bring the vibes.
Love it. Love it.
I came up with the name.
Why?
So our team's called The Address, right? And so the Address, Real Estate Explained, when I think about naming something, I like it to be like very simple, straight to the point, so everyone knows what it is. So if you look at all the things that I've named, it's like Nick Bush, the Realtor, the Address, Real Estate Explained. It's like you don't have to think about what you are consuming. Mm-hmm. The name already speaks for what it is. So that's why I came up with that name.
Yeah, good. So let's get more into it later in the podcast. But right now, I want to jump straight into the first real estate headline, which is going to be home buyer activity has shown signs of warming up this spring. Pretty much, Marcus, if I recall,
I don't know about
it's kind of like what we've been talking about pretty much this whole winter about interest rates going to fluctuate. They're going to do what they do, but because interest rates and because of the inventory, we're not seeing a whole bunch of houses hitting the market, and eventually something's going to have to give. Either buyers going to have to buy, sellers going to have to lower their prices, but add to the fact that a lot of homeowners are rate locked, we're starting to see buyers jump back out there again.
For sure. There's a lot of activity that's happening. Applications are up. Homes are staying on the market for a short amount of time. It's pretty aggressive out here. Y'all see that as well?
Yeah.
Multiple offer situations, escalation clauses,
Definitely.
waiving this, waiving that.
Yeah.
Getting beat out by cash offers. It's real out here in the streets. So spring is sprung.
So I want to read a little bit from this article from Keep It Current Matters. It says spring season appears to be warming up. Houses more and more are beginning to enter the market. And after the rising mortgage rates signed out a lot of buyers last year, that was really a good sign for sellers. And then it continues to talk about with the recent uptick in mortgage applications, which we'll talk about a little bit more, as well as the decline in mortgage rates. This is good news for sellers because it means that buyers are actively now looking for homes. So, Tamara, what are you seeing as far as like your listings and your buyers? What are you hearing on the streets as you work with your clients?
So I think inventory is everything right now. And because there isn't any, it's definitely a situation is if you put something mediocre on the market at best.
So for people in the cheap seats, can you explain what inventory is?
Yeah, inventory is the amount of housing supply we have in a particular area compared to the number of buyers looking in that area.
Got it. And so what are you seeing as far as the inventory with your clients in there?
So, statistically, we're just shy of a month of supply, I think, or we're right at a month of supply in the District of Columbia. I'm not sure with the entire DMV. You guys let me know about Maryland and Virginia. And you would think that activity would be a little bit low because the contribution of buyers to the market has diminished since, I don't know, Q4 of last year, right? It came to a halt. But the buyers who are not directly affected by interest rates, meaning they are more well-equipped buyers. They have
money.
They have savings. They have the credit. Right.
Better cross.
They have
Bag
the.
buyers.
They have the credit scores. They have the down payments. They have all that stuff. They're still out here.
Yeah.
And the fact that that small group of people is still out here, and we still can't find inventory. So last week I did 2 offers in one day, 9 offers on one building or on one property. 4 offers on another, escalating over $50,000 over asking. And
Where was that at?
Well, one was in AU Park, the other was in Brookland.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And what's even worse is I have clients that have specific areas they want to be in DC, and stuff will pop up on the market on a Thursday, and on Friday it'll go temporary off market. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, what happened? I'm going to show this. My buyers are ready. They solid. They got like 20% down. Yeah. Oh, we just got to figure stuff out, and we're going to put it back on, or we got to go through and say, it is crazy that I am scrambling. Like, why did you just take this off the market? Like, I'm coming tomorrow. So I think, I don't know what your question was now that I've done all that talking.
Yeah, no, that answered my question. I mean, I literally did the same thing on the listing that I had because I do mostly listings, and I mean I do buyers too, but I do a lot of listings. And my client, we had a property on the market, and she was like, it was not super clean and updated, what like I would have preferred.
Right.
And so I was like, look, we can put it on the market like this, but the joints that's selling right now are very, very, very nice properties. And we set on the market, and we went temp off because I was like, look, let's go temp off for a second, stage it, let you move out. And then we went back. So I had a bunch of people calling me the same thing, like, "Oh, why did you jump off?" I'm like, "My guy's not ready yet."
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, why didn't y'all call me before I took it temp?
Because
that's not my job.
They're watching. Why would I call you?
You
just not going to drop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call you. Hey, we went off tip off market. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't think that's exactly what's happening with you guys. I mean, that is what's happening.
What do you think? For
me, like, I don't think it's just like well qualified buyers because my average price point is like the mid 400s, right? That's kind of where I'm selling most of my homes. And I feel like I remember when COVID happened, I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna make any money this year. None of my buyers are gonna win because you don't expect a $300,000, $400,000 buyer to be able to waive all those contingencies and go over list price. But a lot of people found that money, during that time, right, when they had to at every price point. And so what I think happened was we have been low inventory really since like 2017, 2018,
sure.
And then we became low inventory and very low interest rate in 2020. So then the market exploded, right? And then last year, like mid-year, interest rates just went to 7%. So there was sticker shock. And I think that everyone spent 6 to 9 months being optimistic that the rates are going to go down. And then they were like, all right, this is the new normal. Let's go buy a house.
Dude, I love that point because literally me and Marcus were saying the same exact thing, that people just going to have to level set. Mm-hmm. And once they level set and realize, don't look like this joint's going to change, my rent keeps going up.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe we'll go ahead and jump out there.
And new normal is actually like historically normal. Like this low 6% range that we're in right now is typically where we are when there's a healthy real estate market. Mm-hmm. It encourages builders to build, sellers to sell, and buyers to buy. Mm-hmm. Like, because if you're gonna sell, you gotta find somewhere to live, and what you're gonna buy in cash.
And I think also it's really good, because sellers are also buyers. Yeah. So if you're selling a house, you gotta move somewhere. Mm-hmm. So this affects everybody. And one of the biggest I'll say objections that I've been hearing, especially from a lot of my clients, is like, look, I will sell right now, but I don't know where I'm going to buy. I don't know where I'm going to go. And it's not so much that I hear 2 main objections. One, I don't want to leave my current interest rate to jump into a higher interest rate market. I hear that a lot. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is, even if I could, where would I go? Because I don't really see anything that I like. There's not as much inventory. What are you hearing, Nick?
I think that that's like an objection, and it's the same. It's almost like we're back in the COVID market where people are having the same objections and the same like issues like finding houses.
I feel like COVID was a little bit different, though. I feel like the objection was slightly different. Most of the objections I got during COVID was, yo, it's so much stuff, but I keep losing out on all these offers.
Yeah.
Well, people were losing, but that's because everyone was out writing because people were like, let me get a house in this
For sure.
3% environment, this like sub 3% interest rate.
But sellers were more eager to sell. Like everybody was cashing out the last 2 years.
Because what happened then was like because this is the thing, right? When you have a sub 3% interest rate, right? 20 people want to write on your house. But Tamara just wrote on a $9 million, and I think you were at 1,875, and the house sold for $2 million, right? So this is like $200,000 over list price. So it's the same thing. I think that objection from sellers is like the way I usually handle it is like, look, like sell your house because you're going to make the most amount of money ever from that house because it's so competitive and you're going to get multiple offers. Like,
I mean, now or 2 years ago?
2 years ago, but even now, it's like the easiest and best time to be a seller with like a really
I've
great
not
product.
found that on the listing side.
I think those objections are for sellers that don't have to move, period.
Sure.
If you have to go,
Right.
you're going. If you don't have to go,
Yeah,
then you can sit there and be like, well, do I
Right,
want to
right.
get out of this interest rate? Well, where am I going to go? Oh, you must not need to move.
Yeah, but more people that like have to go are like, yo, this interest rate is sweet. Like, I don't know if I want to move up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear that a lot.
Because like, what makes a seller really have to go?
Jobs,
Or they
babies, space, death in the family.
right, they can't move up and down the stairs. They need to downsize.
Older people, yeah.
I mean, I think, I guess it determines like what's needed. Like if you're just moving just for the heck of it, then sure,
Right.
those people probably stay.
Or
But
people with kids that are moving into
yeah,
better school districts.
That's a big one.
That's
yeah.
they will
That's
tell the
huge.
I
hot
mean, when I
water
got
they get
families
out
right
of
now, they're like, yo, I'm not. They, like that. What did you call those families? Like the bag families with a whole bunch of money. You said something. It was a really.
The bag.
It was like
bag
but she used the SAT word. It made it sound smart. I wanted to use. Yeah, you used a way better word than what's in my brain. But anyway, I'm saying the cat said,
well qualified buyers,
okay, we're good enough.
desirable buyer.
I got several of those, and they're just kind of sitting, just hanging out, waiting because they don't really have much of a
Well,
motivation.
I have buyers
to go
like
into a
that
higher interest rate market.
too. And or they're like waiting for something to happen. Maybe prices will drop or interest rates will drop. And I said, listen, the market has slowed down significantly compared to last year and the year before. However, statistics show that the cost of housing has increased 1.7% from this time last year. So maybe it's not escalating up to 20% appreciation
Right.
like we used to have, but it's still going up.
And that just ties right back into what we were talking about, which is inventory. The reason that prices are the upward pressure on prices
Right.
is happening is because supply and demand. There's not enough.
And those
supply.
stats are week over week.
Yeah, they go
Week
up every
over
week.
week.
Yep.
So you have a buyer who can't really, I mean, of course, they're not going to be able to keep up with what we can keep up with. So we have to stay in front of them and inform and things like that. And we speak about the bag buyers, so to speak. But but what are y'all doing for the buyers that are they don't have the money or they needed programs or they're super conservative or concerned about the interest rates or they're still anticipating they may go back down. Like, how are y'all handling those folks?
I don't make it rocket science, man. Like, it's the same for everybody, bro. It's like, let's go see some houses. You like a house. Let's call the agent and see how competitive it's going to be, and let's see what we have to do to win. Like, it's not like rocket
It's a
science.
very
It's like,
fundamental.
you know, and it's like
strategy.
this is you should do a pre-inspection, or this is like
Mhm.
how doing a home inspection or not is going to affect you winning this deal. You can do an appraisal. Do you have extra cash? You can offer an appraisal gap. How much extra cash you come up with? It's just like consulting. Like, you actually have to be in the weeds a little bit with the buyer. But there's because somebody that can afford 1.8, 1.75. Like, if they don't want to go up to 2 million, or if they can't go, then they can't. Just because you can do 1.8 doesn't mean you can do 3 million, right?
Right.
So you gotta address it the same. Like, here's the competition. Here are the things you can do in the contract to make you stronger. Let's shoot at it and see if we can.
Let's go out, let's submit some offers, 10% below the list price. Like, let's throw in some closing costs. So let's throw in some down payment assistance. Like, let's throw in the whole.
And hold on. And then every buyer,
for sure.
every buyer that's like, oh, the market's gonna crash. Oh, we're waiting for the interest rate. Like, I just talk to them less because like they dreaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
it's like,
I mean, one of my clients came back, and I'm not the type of people to be like, I try to joke. I think everybody got to make decisions the best for them, right? But at the same time, we were shopping for over 2 years ago. 2.5% interest rates, Now that person's back, like, dang, man. But their monthly payment is twice what it would have been had we bought.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, all right, well, who cares if you didn't get a Black Friday sale? Get the price that it is today, and then just hold on to it for 10 years or however long you want to stay.
But also
I think
for
you got to
buyers.
manage expectations too, though, because
sure.
I have buyers that will say, "This is how much money I make. This is my credit score." Actually, the girl that you spoke to the other day, but I don't think I'm ready to buy. Well, where do you live? Oh, I live in Capitol Hill. I'm like, you're right. You can't buy in Capitol Hill, but you could buy here, here, and here. This is where you could buy. Are you ready? Okay, well, let's go look at that. Before I start making offers that are lowball and asking for seller credit, before I do all of that, it's like, I respect your time, respect my time too.
Yeah.
Let me show you where we should focus our time and try and win these deals. But to be fair, even those areas that I'm pushing them to, they're competitive too.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
There's no inventory.
I think what a pro for buyers is that now listing agents, because it kind of, the listing agents kind of drive this kind of contingency situation in the contract, are riskier with appraisals. So there was a time like 2017, 2018 where it's like, oh, you need closing costs? We'll go 10 over. We'll ask for 10K closing costs. It's still a full ass offer, right? Everybody was cool with that, like, give and take. And then I feel like listing agents like, I don't know where it's going to appraise. Like, I'm not sure. But you just wrote on something where the agent's like, yeah, go 17K over and ask for the $17,000 of closing costs, and that's cool. And I think that is the listing agent believing that the home is going to appraise over list price, and I think that kind of just like creep back into the market.
I'm not seeing any properties priced inappropriately, or like the last 2 years where you saw a property was purposely underpriced because they wanted
we've
that.
been having
Like,
a
I
lot
haven't
of
seen that at all.
a lot of price adjustments lately. So
Yeah?
I think, I'm not sure if I'm seeing that. I'm seeing a lot of homeowners that are coming out too hot, and then the market is speaking like,
No.
But that's
at 6%.
That's what you said before. You like, yo, if your house is priced the right way, like it's gonna
You'll
sell.
move fast,
it's
yeah.
just gonna move.
I don't know, bro. I think that I agree with Tamara that I don't think people are overpricing their house.
No, they are, bro.
I think people are like, damn, 30 days. Like we gotta reduce the sales price.
Right.
They don't realize they think the normal is like one weekend.
What I'm seeing is they're more willing now to do price adjustments. Where 2 years ago they was like, what? My neighbor's house should
I
sell
don't
for
think
this.
they're willing.
Now they're kind of like, yo, we're 45 days on market. All right, Dan, where do we need to be at? They're
Yeah,
like,
but
we need to be here.
I just told a buyer I don't think we're in a market where we can lowball yet, because
Well,
I have
don't know
been
about
lowballing.
but I will say 10%. You can go in 10% below and be like, hey,
Yeah, I hear
y'all been
you,
on for 45 days.
but sellers are still like,
Yeah,
no.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've got a bunch of.
So
Nah.
some of my buyers I got a girl in Florida, and she's making list offers, and she's making higher than list offers, and she can't get it. Right?
Yeah.
I had a guy in Atlanta. He was trying to lowball, and it just was not happening. And then he finally got a property at a list price, and he was able to get some money back from himself in closing costs. But that was new construction, and that was sitting on the market for like 40 days though. But most of these properties, like y'all said, they're not sitting on the market for like 40 days. And if they are, you still got to negotiate.
I mean, I think another thing that we probably want to talk about maybe on another episode is the sellers, the homeowners that can't go below a certain number.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people took out, COVID forbearances and moved a lot of money because they're like, hey, I don't got to pay my mortgage. I bet, right? And then they invested in crypto and all that these other speculative investments, and then they realized, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But now they don't. But what the government didn't tell you was, yo, we're gonna throw this on as a second mortgage on your house. If you want to modify your loan, it's a second, and then they throw that $80,000 on the back of their loan. And I got a couple clients now. It's like, well, I can't sell it for the fair market value because I have this 2 years of mortgage payments that I did not make, that the government said I didn't have to make. So they have to sell it for a certain amount. So there's another group of those. And so that kind of piggybacks into the coach's corner. Y'all saw that? With
making a segue.
You feel the segue? Coach's corner, because we're going to be talking about the COVID forbearance that is coming to an end.
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend. So
pay the bag.
Yeah,
This man got Tourette's. Like, what's going on? He just saying
we got to pay the bag, bro.
Random real estate terms. He got real estate tips.
Some of
Bag
these
buyers.
Appraisals.
Some of the agreements were 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. There's some people that haven't paid the mortgage really in about 18 months. But that's all over with. It was supposed to end at the end of last year, but it's actually, it's done as of Memorial Day weekend. So June 1st, You need to be prepared to start making your mortgage payments. If you're not really sure, call your mortgage company, talk to the customer service department, talk to your servicing, whoever you got to talk to, make that phone call for the 800 number that's on your mortgage statement and say, when does my payment in full have to start being, repaid? And do I have to start paying the amount that has been held in forbearance for me? Because you don't want to keep it up to date thinking, oh, I can get back to paying my $2,000, but you also got $800 a month that you got to pay something.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question, Marcus. Sorry, Tamara. Let me ask you a question. So if someone had a $2,000 mortgage and they didn't pay them, but they were in forbearance, they didn't pay it for a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're behind $24,000. When the forbearance is over, is that like $24,000 due? Do they just have to go back to pay, the $2,000? How can they catch up? Because they still owe that $24,000.
Yeah.
So what does that look like?
So you have a couple of options, and sometimes that is something that you do have to pay. Get back to paying the regular the $2,000 a month, and then whatever was deferred, then that mortgage servicing company might have you pay something towards that and roll it all into one, right?
Okay.
Or you could just say, look, I'll get back to paying the $2,000 a month, but then this whatever that's been held back, they say you don't have to start paying on it. But if you do refinance or if you do sell this house, all this together got to get paid off. So we're going to get our money one way or the other. But like I said, you got to make sure you make a phone call as a homeowner. Make a phone call to the servicing department.
Figure out what you actually need.
Yeah. They have all the rules and what you can and can't do and that type of thing.
I got two questions because that's what I was thinking. Like the people who have been pushing back their payments, we're assuming that being in the DMV, they've created some sort of equity in their house. So if they do refinance, they should potentially be able to pay that off.
I mean,
I have a client right now.
So is that why we are not? Because I remember talks about this when the first time the forbearance was supposed to be over. I'm shocked that it's this May. I thought it was last year or the year before. But I remember the last time when they were talking about that, they were like, we're about to see foreclosures. Like you should get into the foreclosure market because everybody's going to come crashing down. And everybody was like, no, there's too much equity in this area for people to have to foreclose. So what are you expecting to see once we hit Memorial Day weekend?
Well, I think there's no more than a lot of phone calls if they listen or if they're just don't listen to us, but they just think smart. Like, when do I have to start paying my mortgage? Because they should have already or are getting ready to receive documents in the mail that speak about, hey, this is over with, get ready to have to start paying. I think there's going to be a refinance, a little bit of a refinance bump because, with the values have gone up, it's real. The value is real. But I owe, lady I'm talking to now, owes $359. But she also has another $80,000 that she still owes, and she got
from the forbearance.
Yeah, but she's got a low interest rate, like 4.5, right? But she now needs cash out to be able to improve her house.
So now
that'll bump foreclosures,
right?
Because if someone's sitting at 3% interest rate but they went on forbearance, and they have to refinance to pay back those forbearance funds. So now their rate went to 7%, 6%, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And their mortgage payment went up, and they can't afford that. Then that could cause people.
So here's some statistics on what y'all talking about here, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. And I love a good
old NBA.
Good old NBA, kind of like the NBA for nerds. All right, and short people. The national. What's the National
Bankers Association for nerds?
So they say the NBA is like.
Explain it to them, Nick. Thank you. You missed that whole.
I got you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
I missed it because
you drink it. Water. See what I did? Protecting your brain.
Was nervous, bro.
Gotta protect that man brain. Man drinking sparkling water. So according to the Maryland Mortgage Bankers Association, 18.5%. So this is basically a chart of everybody who took out a forbearance during 2021 through June 2022. So this is a little bit behind, but 18% of the people made their monthly mortgages on time. 6.7% already had their loans paid off or had paid off their loans. 11.2% had past due payments that were brought current. Now, this is what we're talking about, the demographic that you guys are talking about. 29.4% took the loan deferral. So they pushed their loan to the back of their mortgage at the end of their 30 years. Then they got to pay another, let's say, $80,000 or however long that takes as a second. 15.8% did a loan modification, which I would like to get a little more clarity on what a loan modification is. So that was 15%. And then 17%, this is the demographic that you're talking about, 17% didn't do anything. 17.2%, and that was last summer. And then 1.2% ended up doing, just giving up the property. So only 1% of the people actually had to lose their house from last summer. 1.2% did a short sale, deed in lieu of foreclosure, or some type of repayment plan and gave up their property. So that's kind of the demographics. I do remember those conversations when everybody's like, oh man, when the forbearance over, it's gonna be a wipeout.
Right.
And then the banks, because I tend to believe in the greed of America and the greed of our country and the greed of banks. And they don't want, in my opinion, another 2008 situation where a whole bunch of people get kicked out of their house and it crashes the economy. So they're going to create any type of program that benefits them, because loan modifications and deferments benefits them because they just keep you in debt longer. So they go, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you don't got to pay it right now, but you're going to have to pay us later. So just chill, and then, we'll get our money on the back end. So I think that's kind of where they're moving towards. I think they're always going to create some type of program to keep people in debt so that they can continue to
there's always
keep the show
there's
going.
always some sort of program that comes up. It was Hope for Homeowners. It was some other Hamp and Harp that came out like years ago. I don't know if y'all were around when that
The
was,
Rocket Mortgage joint you was talking about last episode.
oh yeah, Rocket Mortgage, they tripped. But then but then you have like those are things that are created as we go. But then there's, since the beginning of time, there's always a foreclosure process. There's always a short sale process, and there's always a modification process. And you ask about modification. All it is they ask you send in proof of what you're making, because you'll say, hey, I can't pay my mortgage because I lost my job or whatever. Okay, cool. So let me see what you're making, tax returns. Let me see your W-2s, pay stubs, that type of thing. It might even ask for bank statements, and they say, okay, well, your regular mortgage is $3,000. We can see that you really can't pay your mortgage, so we'll drop it down to $1,500.
To Dan's point, they want you to pay that debt off.
Well, that is true, but here's the other thing: lenders are not in the business of taking back inventory. Like that REO department is something that had to be created because of how much inventory we were taking back in that REO process. There was so much inventory that had to be taken back. So then you got to be some realtors that were REO specialists, right? Because all they really wanted to do was talk to, let's see who's going into foreclosure. Let me negotiate with the REO department and do the short sale, that type of thing. I mean, it's cool because that's a niche, but like that modification process is always going to be there. So if some of these people, now that they're going, the forbearance is over, if they really can't pay their mortgage, there's probably a modification available for them to keep them in the house. And the worst case scenario, like we said before, sell the property. You got equity in it, and even if you got a $300 balance that's left over, $80,000 that's in forbearance, that property is probably still got a 10-15% equity in it. So sell it and walk away with something.
Right.
Because aren't these two things basically true, right? Like people, the reason there's not going to be a bunch of foreclosures is you actually have to qualify for your mortgage. So more than likely people can afford their mortgage so they can continue paying it, right? And then the other thing is that like you have so much equity so you don't have to foreclose. So you can just sell and like really cash out. Yeah. Right? So like this fear of a bunch of foreclosures, like people just aren't underwater and upside down,
Yeah, because the value, the equity position, the average equity increase was 15-17% year over year over the last 2-3 years, right?
Tamara will be telling me that the DC values grow 10% all the time. I'm like 4 to 7. She like, I'm like, Tamara, we can't be telling people that.
During the pandemic like environment, we were seeing values increase, average.
Ask somebody.
So I just think there's.
Well, I think the other thing that's interesting though is that during the pandemic, I think a lot of people lost their jobs, but the industry was hospitality and service. And I just know that because I have a background in hospitality and service and everybody was losing their jobs. So it made sense like to modify your loan or ask for a forbearance. But now, aside from the tech world, the job market is great. And that's why the Fed is freaking out with this inflation, because they don't want people to be able to buy up more stuff. They don't want people to be hired anymore. And business owners are not getting rid of their employees either. They're retaining their good
I mean, we're seeing a lot of job loss.
home though.
Wasn't
Yeah.
last year just all like, be afraid, like
Yeah.
the world's about to shut down, and like none of that happened.
None of it
It's
ever.
all
It never
smooth.
happens.
It's all chill.
Because cats like us, like we're telling people like the actual reality. We're not trying to sell clicks and like clicks and salacious headlines really sell. Speaking of headlines, let's go into the DMV.
Let's segue number
It's on point today, you know what I mean?
Marcus, I'm trying to set my game.
Hey, today's episode
21.
21.
Nah, I thought it was 20.
I'm sorry.
Episode 21.
Most
Yeah,
people don't get to 20.
that's true.
We did.
Wow, can we shine for like a second, Tamara?
I came on talking about we did 8 podcasts.
Wow.
We got more episodes.
They got more
That's why we
episodes
fired
than
you. She
Well,
said,
to be fair, he said most people don't make it to 20.
You know,
Yeah.
and I will say that. I will say,
it would be
like,
silly
for
me to-
us, yo, like me and Nick talk about this all the time. It's not no competition because y'all can literally jump from our podcast and jump on Nick Bush podcast
Yeah.
and listen to Real Estate Explained because there's
And you
so
should.
much good information, good content out here for you to consume that will really help you make an informed decision about
Right.
what you're trying to do to establish wealth, to build community, and to buy or sell real estate in the DMV.
Yeah, you get the facts and you get them from
Yeah.
some people who care versus people who just out here just throwing stuff at the wall
Yeah.
and see what sticks.
you hear the show, that's love. They took time to put on our podcast.
Yeah,
We
check out
appreciate y'all. You know
Real
what I mean?
Estate Explained is basically Nick was like, yo, I'm about to start a podcast. Oh, I'm not doing my name, but yo, man, I'm about to start this podcast, bro. Yo, I got my whole girl Tamara the Clever, yo. She's solid, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? She wanted the business part of it, you know what I'm saying? And I just be out there, yo. I'm Jordan, basically. I'm like Jordan, you know what I'm saying?
I'm hip hop.
I'm hip hop. I'm on hip hop. Like, I know my pants is like ridiculously high. It doesn't, my aesthetic doesn't really match hip hop, but I'm just gonna keep saying that shit, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually people will believe it. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
So if you Jordan, who's she?
Jordan, I'm Jordan. She Kobe.
Nah, she's coach, yo. She's a coach.
Well, she would never be Phil Jackson.
Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure.
That's cool. Cause she,
She
like,
runs it.
She be like, I'm trying to
Wait,
get
are
a
y'all
budget.
trying to say I can't play?
No, you can't play. We are saying that effectively, yes.
Yeah.
Triangle.
Tamara's Phil, for
Scotty.
sure. Tamara's Phil. She's like, but she embraces it. She's like, Nick, you can go and be the player. I'm gonna sit back with the ownership. You know what I mean?
But what I will say, Tamara, is you came in today and you're like dressed impeccably.
Oh,
You got the pedal pushers on like Marcus does. And your whole joint just vibes like
thank
smack
you.
classy, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the pedal pusher wearers,
I
Marcus
like
and
your
Tamara.
situation in here too.
Yeah, you know, we did a little bit, a little something, something.
Is that art on acrylic right there?
It is, if
Yeah,
that's what
I'm
you
trying-
say it is. That's exactly why I bought it.
I'm trying to get pictures put on stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can get that done. It looks
That's
good.
what I did. That was the that was intentional, 100% intentional. Glad you noticed.
So Tamara's when was Jordan's run? You was a grown man when
that's
this was
right.
happening. You know what I mean? So
What's your
I'm Jordan through
we
the
still
first
on
runs.
this? Because I don't know anything
And
about
Tamara's
basketball.
Jordan through the second runs.
Okay.
The second three people.
After retirement in baseball,
Yeah.
the king got
More
his team.
mature and
Right.
aware. You know,
Right.
that's Tamara. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I'm out here just
Also, you Jordan like 86 driving.
Tamara's kind of young for you to call her mature. Like that's, I
Yeah,
don't know
he's
if that's
calling
like,
me
Oh, you
He
can
always
Kobe.
thinks
You
it's
can
like a
Kobe.
compliment.
She's going Kobe 24.
Fro Kobe was hard. All right.
Kill it.
Pause. Yeah. So
Yeah, pause. I pause.
here's what we got going on in the DMV. As far as our closed sales, year over year, as to be expected, we're down. But month over month, from this time February, we are up on closed sales, 35.9%.
Tamara loved the stat.
That's what you've been saying. You like a good stat. You like a good stat. Give
Why
me
you
a
giving her a
stat.
pound like you like stats?
I love stats. I'm a stat.
Stats.
I'm a stat guy.
Every week. Numbers.
You know how I always debunk all of your arguments with stats?
Like,
You
it
hate
makes
stats.
sense.
Clear. I love a good stat.
If you
Here's another stat that I really like. Median sold price in the DMV in March was 368,000, which is up 2.3%. So the median sold price is increasing.
And you know what it was last week?
Who was
1.7%. I just saw that.
It increased over week.
week over week.
Average sold price is up 3.9%. Median days on market. This
Tell
is
me,
crazy.
tell me.
Down from this time last month.
Crazy.
42.9%.
The block
So,
is hot.
houses are moving faster. Like we said, right, Marcus? Houses are moving off the market faster, and they're increasing in price.
All
And
right,
interest
so-
rates are not doing much.
So cheap seats, right? So you take a percentage and make, because a lot of people can't do the percentage. So what's the average sales price? Would y'all say? Let's just say 400,000, maybe in this area.
You about to get us
He said 342. I thought you said 342. Didn't you just say that?
the average sold price.
Average sales price, right?
The median sale price. The average sales price is $458,000.
So let's just round up to 460, right? So if we're up,
So it's up another like $12,000.
and trending, no, 1% is only 40.
No, it's up 3.9% from this time last month.
So from last, that means another 12,000. So you're paying 12 by waiting.
Let's call it
you're
4%.
Okay.
So 16,000.
Let my man get through his stats.
Right.
Okay, no, I'm trying to make
I'll
it easy.
cut you off, but I mean, but
I mean, cut you off, but 3.9% is basically.
I'm trying to follow the stats. He likes
I'm trying to make it concise. All right, here we go. Go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt you.
So,
But I will say one more
thing.
thing.
So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna do 450 at 4%. That means we're talking about like $19,000. That you're gonna, if you wait a month, you're probably gonna pay about $19,000 more this month than last month. So cheap seats. Remember, like that $19,000 impacts how much money you got for down payment and closing costs and all the other things. So does it benefit you to wait? Absolutely not. Get in because the market is what it is. The rates have been up and down. They're still trending right around low 6% right now.
Yeah, but Marcus,
So,
I'm waiting for interest rates to come back now.
well, guess what? Hold your breath because they're not coming back. Because they're not coming back. You'll never see 3% again.
Never?
For what we see. What it
Marcus
was.
said,
No.
"Hold your breath, maybe you die first."
Yeah.
And then use the proceeds from your estate.
What's $19,000 of a mortgage payment? So $450 mortgage payment, roughly. $450 mortgage payment versus $469 mortgage payment. What's the difference in
That
dollars?
$20,000, that $19,000 difference? $100? Maybe.
$100.
Yeah, I mean,
100 for 30.
here we go.
I ain't
Angela, where
betting.
you at?
I ain't betting.
We ain't betting. We ain't betting.
Just
Y'all
asking.
go ahead and talk. I'm gonna do that real quick.
I'm a
Angela,
budget professional.
I'm gonna get my 25 push-ups.
I feel like it's
back.
like there's some type of calculation for that. But
We gonna do that.
okay, yeah, hey,
I'm
you do
talking
your
about
thing.
push-ups. I'm gonna challenge y'all to a spin class. See if we can
To
take
a what?
a
I'm
spin
out on the
class.
spin class. Y'all can have it.
They have a Peloton at the crib. I can handle a spin
You
class.
can't handle no spin class.
I got a 1.5-year-old. That's kind of
Let's do a spin class.
that would be running.
Well, the reason I ask that is because people only worry about like cash out of pocket sometime, and just that girl that we both talked to, I was telling her, she asked me a question like about price point, and I was like, look, we're mortgage payment shopping. You're not like price point shopping. Like whatever you want your mortgage payment to be, that's like what
Ooh, that's
that's the price point that we're shopping in. You know what I mean? And so I think people need to realize like, all right, not only am I paying like a higher sales price, but I'm actually adding $100 to my mortgage payment. 100 sounds high to me too, just by the way. But like, I'm adding $100 to my mortgage payment. So you're not really getting pushed out necessarily because the price point got more expensive. You're getting pushed out because you can't afford the mortgage payment at the higher price point.
Yeah, and I think the biggest shock, like we kind of been beating on this dead horse, we're gonna bring it back alive, is I think a lot of people realize like, yo, like I got a client that was he bought an $825,000 house back in last summer in Rockville or summer before, and his mortgage payment was like $2,400 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always a but. He was very well qualified. He had excellent credit. He had a good down payment. I think he put down like 20% because he sold his other house, and so his timing was perfect. It was like bam, bam, bam. I'm well qualified. I got a huge down payment. I've got great credit, and I'm going to buy this $825,000 house, and my mortgage payment only going to be $2,400 a month, which is less than mine for a bigger house. Good for him. Am I going to be mad because oh man, this guy got a $825,000? Oh, I'm just going to wait and see. In the next 10 or 15 years, if that once in a lifetime situation ever comes back, that doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah, you don't wait for that Haley's Comet to come passing through again because
It doesn't make any financial sense.
Real talk, you probably gonna miss it again. If you miss it the first time, you probably gonna miss it again.
But the reason you gonna miss
real.
it is because you miss like people that wait for stuff, they never get anything done for real.
That's why if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about
Getting ready.
There you go. What was the number?
$100.
No,
What was 19,000? 450 to 469.
Some do 450, 470.
You still over there working on
Marcus, I have a question. I know you
Marcus is very detail oriented.
I just need to make sure we got our points done, and I want to see about these numbers.
He adding in the home
450 at 6% over 30 years is $26.98
Okay.
principal and interest. 470
469. Let's keep the numbers.
Okay, I'll
accurate.
give you 469.
Yeah,
469.
that's $1,000. That's a lot.
469 is 2812.
Oh,
It's
that's
more than
$100.
$100.
Wow. That's great. Damn, you don't push up for me, bro.
Marcus, I have a
I'm
question.
Angela, come up right
I'm
here.
gonna push us
That's
back.
but
So,
Yes, ma'am.
still trying to get back at
if
Angela.
we have a buyer, you know, a lot of us
Did you
realtors,
take
we
a
got
bite
our
out of this, Tim?
we got our go-to lenders, and we have a buyer that's looking for a house, and they're approved for the maximum non-conforming loan, right? But they're in this price point, and they can't get over the mortgage payment. Doesn't make the price of the mortgage payment is too high. Like maybe they want to stay under $5,000, and they can't at this price point. Does it make sense for them to shop around for better interest rates, or do they stay with you and figure out how they can get it under $5,000?
Selfishly, stay with me. Right?
But no, seriously, like for real, like,
but,
is there anything you could do for real?
No, I'm always up to play ball, right? I'm always up for competition, but I do think it's a wise move to talk to a couple of mortgage lenders, not just because one is giving you some crazy information or may not see what's up with that, but just talk to them, talk to a bank, talk to maybe a credit union, and have a conversation with an independent lender, and then see like, here's my stuff, apply within a 2-week time frame. Here's my stuff, and what are the numbers, right? Because then you can really make an informed decision. Because the reality is, bank to bank, they're probably gonna be offering you about the same thing. Maybe a little variance, maybe an eighth or a quarter. From a bank to an independent mortgage lender, these guys can drop their interest rates and will drop their commission so that the interest rates are lower.
Margins.
There you go, because they don't have the margins, and those that can impact your payment a little bit more. But then you get to somebody like myself as a broker, shameless plug, right? So as a broker, I can go and I ain't got no middleman, right? My margins are that big. So I can say, okay, here's direct wholesale. It's you and I right here. What is your situation? So I can eliminate all this stuff, and then I can hit your payment and make it lower by $300-400 because now I got some other things. Oh, I've got, you know what I mean? It's just. But it is a good idea to have conversations with 2 or 3 lenders. It's not going to bother your credit. But if you start shopping around in the same pool, you're going to run into the same stuff, and all you've done is just waste time, and you're going to go back.
That's good because, I mean, I don't know about Nick, or for any other realtor, it happens all the time, especially when you have a buyer, what do we call them, bag buyers? Like, they're qualified, and they're just trying to get a little bit less on that mortgage payment, and nobody wants to push or shove, but isn't it up to you to decide what your interest rate is going to be regardless? I mean,
you say you as in me as a lender, or you as in you as the
one in general.
You as the lender, as the broker. Like you're gonna look at the interest rates, the Fed rates as like a
kind of a baseline.
A baseline, but ultimately you decide what you're gonna charge.
Yeah. I can decide what I'm gonna charge. So like if somebody's charging like the maximum amount of fees that you can, okay, then of course the rate's gonna be higher. But if you say, look, there's an A buyer that's got 800 credit scores and they can put 50% down or buy it in cash. Like, if you come out the gate with something crazy, they're automatically going to look. They're like, that don't even sound right.
Yeah.
They're going elsewhere. But if you make an informed decision to say everybody in this market is paying about 1% as a point, a discount point. Okay, so here's what I can offer at that number.
Okay.
And guess what? I may not even need to charge that number to end up winning the deal, right? So sometimes, agree to get your head cut off or get you with an empty pocket.
Good to know. Sorry.
So, let's get into the real estate hot or not. What'd you think about that, Tamara?
About what just happened here?
Yeah, the whole situation.
She said,
The whole thing.
it was whack. So
What'd you think? How tight do you think that was? How dope do you think that was? On a scale of dopeness. Oh, so we should do it again?
Yeah.
So, let's get into the real estate hot or not.
I liked it.
Tamara approved?
So let me show you how this works.
Here it comes.
Let me show you how this works.
We don't want to know how it works.
No, watch this.
Okay, good.
Stats. You're supposed to join in. We're supposed to be
Thank you, Tamara. Thank you.
Let's see what's happening.
Tamara goes hard. She cares not.
So we can compete with them.
Yes, queen.
So you supposed
Yes.
we get in sequence.
Yes, honey.
We get in sequence.
Yes.
Apparently they building it, they fly it.
Dang.
Yes.
I lost the
Queen.
sauce, y'all, because
Let that man out there.
You let me out there, right?
No clothes on.
No lie.
but I was like,
I thought I could just throw the lob up, but she didn't catch it. We don't
my
got
first thought was,
What are you
we already
talking?
did stats.
We don't got the.
I got you.
Honey.
Okay, what's hot or not?
Honey. Okay, here
Fix
we
it
go.
or flip it. Go ahead.
So, fix it.
Go ahead.
Like, go ahead.
Let's get it.
Listed or. All right, here we go. So we need the top answer that comes to your brain. No thinking.
Oh.
Which is
Just
easy
for
for
all
me.
of us or just for Marcus?
Bye. What are you talking about?
Okay.
I wish I could have said what I wanted to say, but I didn't say it. I'm trying to protect Marcus's brain. But yes, is the answer to your question for all of us, Nick Bush. Yeah, man. So I was like thinking about the other day. You know what I'm saying? I was going down the street, next thing I know, you know what I'm saying? Boom! This dude came up to me. He was like, "Yo." So I was like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the hood. You feel me? I've been in road. You feel me? I'm been in road. What? You sound like DMX.
I sound nothing like DMX.
No, you don't sound like
You
DMX.
sound like many things.
My
like
voice
DMX.
is not actually raspy.
You sound
Not
like
in your head, but for all of us outside of your head, it's raspy.
Is my voice
That was
raspy?
disrespectful.
Oh,
That's what we do here on the Real Estate Wire. For all of us on the Real Estate Wire squad, if you think Nick Bush's voice is raspy, just put it in the comments.
Vote in the comments, yeah.
Just say it sounds like he's eating a bowl of grapes while he talks. Just write that in the comments. Write that in the comments. All right, here we go. Would you rather go barefoot for a day or eat clumpy mascara for breakfast? What say you, Tamara?
Barefoot for a day.
Barefoot.
Barefoot.
I'll eat the mascara.
True.
At least my feet ain't gonna be crusty like y'all.
Your teeth are gonna be crusty.
I can brush it.
And you might die. Pretty sure there's some poison in
You
there.
ain't gonna die from mascara.
I feel like there's some poison in the mascara.
Google that right now. How many people die from eating mascara?
It's probably vegan.
Vegan mascara? They have that?
Yeah, so they don't
vegan
test it on
everything.
animals.
That's a girl thing that I would not know anything about.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you,
I bring the
Tamara.
balance.
Balance is needed. Would you rather get, well, this is about, no, that's my regular voice.
Oh, well, go ahead. Would you rather?
What you mean? I was about to ask a question about tan lines, but we don't get tan
I was
lines.
like, damn.
I don't get tan lines. My wife gets tan lines. Your
Go
wife
ahead, Dan.
I don't get tan lines. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, you was just saying that. That wasn't really no squirrel.
Go ahead.
Dude, my eyes getting watery from the pollen, bro. Are y'all getting out?
We are in like a building, essentially.
I know, but I still.
You better get on the Zyrtec.
Zyrtec? I don't want to take any medication for it. I'm just.
When it's not
Yeah,
prepared,
well,
but it-
That's
I
why
feel
my
like I still
eyes
need
don't water.
to air my grievances. Would you rather be able to add salt? Would you rather to never be able to add salt or sugar to anything again? Salt or sugar?
Oh, that's a good one. Salt.
Both.
No, what is the other camera? Play the game.
No, I can't live without either. They need each other.
You only get one or you die. Which one?
Salt.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go salt.
See, that's why black
So
people
that's
have high blood pressure.
No, that's why our food tastes good. Our food tastes good. You know?
I'd rather die on a full
That's why
stomach.
we got
Yeah, I'll take this.
hypertension.
Would you rather have no sense of smell or no sense of taste?
Smell.
It's the same thing.
Mm,
No
nah.
smell. Yes, it is. If you can't smell, you can't
No,
taste.
one is your nose, one is your tongue.
If you can't smell, you can't taste.
I disagree.
Look
with
it
that.
up, somebody.
No,
Look it up.
smell influences your taste, but it doesn't
Is that a bet?
negate your taste.
Mhm.
Hey, you want to bet?
You ain't gonna bet a nurse for 10 years. Don't do it, because I'm gonna make you do push-ups.
I don't
And
do
we don't do girl
push-ups.
push-ups. Exactly. All right. Would you? Oh, what did I say? I'd rather have. I'd rather lose my sense of smell.
Yeah, I'll lose my sense of smell too.
Would you rather put on a? I'm not gonna reach
Yeah,
it.
don't do that.
Would you rather wear an onion flavored? Would you rather wear onion flavored or liver flavored lipstick?
Liver. I grew up on liver.
Onion.
What say you, Nick Bush?
Onion.
Yeah, let's go onion.
Yes.
Liver is disgusting.
I love
Yeah.
liver.
Ooh.
It's
I was just
good.
ready to say that.
Do you like liver? Yeah, with onions, throw some
Fried
right.
plantains.
But she's from Haiti. You African, so.
Oh, you African? Oh, you Haitian?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Ça passe.
Yeah. I don't know enough to really joke. So.
Thank God.
Last one. Would you rather? Oh, this is a good one. Marcus, you already know my answer to this one. Would you rather fart out loud on a date or have hiccups the entire time on the date?
Hiccups.
Which one?
Hiccups.
It's like one fart.
Yeah, fart out loud. I see that in sizes.
Out loud.
I think
Yes.
one fart is better than hiccups on a date.
hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marcus, what say you?
Tiffany already knows. You gonna get it.
What about you, Dan?
Oh, I'm farting.
Because this is the thing.
What's
One,
wrong with hiccups?
no, one.
Hiccups are annoying.
Just imagine if somebody you're eating dinner with somebody.
Yeah, the whole time.
Every 2 minutes, you're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
A
But
fart
at
is
least
gross.
you know where it's coming from. The whole night, I'm gonna be thinking about the fart that you just farted at the
Well, it
dinner
depends
table.
on how good the fart was.
But check, but
If it was
also,
me, you're gonna be thinking about
if
it all
this
night.
one date leads to an engagement, which leads to marriage, and you're gonna get farted on all the time for the rest
Plus,
of the
it'll be a really funny story. Be like, yo, our first date, you farted,
And I'm not letting
we
my-
joked about it.
I just think the hiccups are constantly distracting, and you could recover from a fart if you got enough.
Was there
sauce.
no time
Enough
to
sauce.
go to the bathroom to do a fart?
No, there was no time. There was
Or
no
at
time.
least get up and walk away and crop that
There was no
sauce.
time. No, you've been yo-yoing the fart all night,
Oh.
and it finally breached the Great Wall.
He said,
The forces penetrated the barrier.
I think for the purpose of the question, it has to happen in front of your date.
I think for the purposes of this realistic situation, yes.
I only fart in the bed with Dutch oven style.
You Dutch oven? You Dutch oven your husband?
That's
They
vicious.
called my wife with a Dutch oven twice.
That's vicious.
Then after that, she got wise.
I've never heard this term Dutch oven.
Oh, it's
before.
weird.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Farting in-
Tamara, I'll let you so eloquently explain the Dutch oven.
You and your wife are having a nice evening in bed in a slow seat, and she takes the blankets and puts it over your head. They marinate in the essence
Oh.
of flatulations.
Oh.
And everybody, it's natural. So either way, it's natural.
Yeah, it's a flatulation
Naturally get out the bed.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying.
Yes.
How
I'm
would you
not
get out of bed?
saying-
You're comfy.
Ugh.
You got the bed warm right where you want it to be.
It
You're
is-
not
it's
getting out of
It's a
bed.
trifling move.
Okay,
You
I
start
don't know how
arguing.
you making a face. Y'all are okay sitting at the restaurant having a gaseous moment
For the
with your
purpose of the
date.
conversation. I don't want to hiccup. I can't get my wrap off from hiccuping the whole
But
time.
your own wife, the mother of your children, can't.
Oh,
fart
that
in
makes it
bed.
even better.
Actually,
I ain't feeling it.
Last question to the Real Estate Explain Squad, the REX.
where do you?
Where do you?
Well,
I'm going to ask
I
each
just
one
you
of
know
you
that
guys.
explained is spelled with an E, not an X.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I said. RES, Real Estate Explain Squad.
Well, explained is also spelled with the
E.
with an E, not an S.
Keep going.
So
So we should be Reese, if it like Reese, because real estate explain, then an S. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand what you're talking about.
Oh,
R-E-E.
E.
What?
We should be
Real
reading.
estate explain show, right? You said-
Real Estate
REEP.
Explain Squad, RES.
But it's two E's.
Oh,
you
you
know?
don't
Real-
have to say the two E's though, does he?
It's Real Estate
Real estate is
Explain, REES?
Yeah.
Oh,
Reese.
all right. That's
Reese.
a valid point.
Reese Pod.
You were right, Nick Bush. Glad we didn't bet
Nick Bush smart today.
today, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Bush is actually smart every day. He just doesn't look smart, but he actually is smart. He hits with okie doke. It's a good strategy.
That's my superpower. Right?
It look like you don't know nothing, but then you say,
Yeah, I say something. Oh, I'm so smart.
Hit him
Yeah.
with boom, boom.
And usually how I enter the conversation. Tamara told me the other day that when I explain something, it's sometimes from an imagination of a 3-year-old, which I agree with.
I said
you
that
know,
to you?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Dang, she carried
which
it.
I agree with.
I'm hard.
she dropped it.
And I can understand how she made that point. I can understand she got there. So even as I enter the conversation, it's not that smart. But then I get to my point. I'll be getting to my point eventually.
So, Nick Bush, I'm going to ask Tamara the question first.
Okay.
Tamara.
Yeah.
Where do you see real estate and the role of real estate agents 20 years from today?
Where do I see real estate and the role of real estate agents 20 years from today?
Correcto.
Yes,
Good
man.
question. It's a good question.
Is it? I see it the way it is today. I think it's going to be more of a consulting position, I guess, for realtors. People pay for convenience, maybe, and I think the non-bag buyers might go the Redfin route or the. I don't think you guys think iBuying is coming back.
No.
I just feel like there's going to be a much easier way to buy houses that will cut out us, the middleman, and we are going to be working with people who want the convenience of not having to do all the legwork of real estate.
Good answer. What say you, Nick Bush?
I mean, I think obviously real estate's going to buy and like trade the same way. But I think actually real estate agents are going to be more like lawyers. So I think we're going to be higher like fiduciary, more necessary for the process. Because I think that a lot of real estate agents are realizing that you have to really know how to do this to do this. And I think that because of the environment of the market, low inventory, et cetera, you know, the average Joe, right, or the average Redfin agent can't like win and compete because they don't know what to do. So I think that we're going to be more valuable in the next 20 years.
It's really good.
Very good.
It's really
Very
good. You
good.
think the emergence of the AI and chat GPT
I mean-
and all that stuff, and you think that'll help
That's a good
eliminate?
question.
Because you're talking about the
I mean, you gotta understand, like, I think that real estate agents do themselves a disservice by not valuing themselves like lawyers and doctors, because that's really like the position we're in. Like, if you think about it, right, the average sales price is $468. So what we're responsible for is like helping somebody buy something that costs $468,000 or sell that product, right? And real estate agents approach it like very transactional, but chat GPT is helpful, but I don't know if you've ever been in a courtroom, but like you can't chat GPT yourself through your murder trial or your bank embezzlement trial or whatever. You need a lawyer, you need a representative, you need someone that can say, you know, like reference a case and then use it and then negotiate with the prosecution for a better deal and like show face for the judge. Like, you need a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And I think that real estate agents don't realize that we are in the same position, you know? And I think that we don't realize that because what is it? It's either 90% of the agents are doing, 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business.
Yeah.
And so there's just too many like shitty agents, right? That it seems as if like there's a bunch of like car salesman agents, you know what I mean?
Right.
But really it's like, no, 10% of the agents are doing all of the deals.
Yeah.
And then you got like the stragglers, you know what I mean? And I think that like the stragglers.
And all of the deals is really just like 3 million and up. It ain't really like the low barrier. Is like
the average agent,
like
the average agent does like 2 deals a year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's just like, I think that, and I think that like with how much information you have to put out as an agent right now, like agents are gonna realize that, all right, you have to be high level right now to win. All the low level agents are out of here.
Yep.
You gotta be high level.
Yep.
And high level doesn't mean like you have access to some information. Like, it's not just like information and knowledge how to approach the market. It's also like you gotta really service, how you building relationships with your clients, how you're getting new business, right? It's way harder to be a real estate agent today than it was in 2019, 2018, and it's only going to get harder because I don't feel like inventory is about to just like explode in the next 5 years and come back. So I think that in 20 years, agents are going to be more valuable, you know, and the people that are like relying on iBuying or Redfin, and like we'll wash any Redfin agent in here, right? Because we are of that 10% number, right? So like, more people will realize that over time. Yeah,
I can appreciate. I want to give you all your flowers because, like, I appreciate how you're talking to. Like, there's some basic fundamentals you spoke about it earlier. So I continue. I just want to say, encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, to keep it very simple, but also serve at a high level. Because whether you're selling or trying to help somebody buy a $2 million home or $200,000 home, like you still got to serve them at a high level to the best of your ability, so that they feel like they've had the best experience. And I think the address is doing that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And the middleman is like, thank you. But a middleman is like someone who goes and like picks something up. Like, a middleman is not like, oh, there's 9 offers on the property, let me call the agent and figure out like how we could be like the top of the 9 or at least top 2 of the 9, and then like consult you on how to like write the best winning offer and say, hey, you should remove this contingency, you should escalate it. That's not like middleman stuff.
Right.
That's like very important, high level, like let's get you into this.
You're on the point.
You know what I mean? And I know like Tamara doesn't feel like she's a middleman either, but she used that word. But it's like, like, what is it, like 13,000 agents in this area? Like, 9,000 of them are like play the middleman game. But then like 3,000-4,000 of us, 2,000-3,000 of us are like dominating the market because like we realize like how valuable we are and we can convey that message to our clients. Like for me, like my buyer's presentation is just like, let me show you I got the juice. Like I know how to do this. You know what I mean? Those 9,000 are like, oh, you got a pre-approval letter? Like, let's go look at houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That guy's gonna get out of here. You know
so where can they find you guys at?
So first of all, subscribe to our podcast, Real Estate Explained.
Real Estate Explained.
We drop every Friday. Go to our website.
You know, drop today?
We drop today. We drop. Go to our website, theaddressdmv.com. Subscribe to our network, and you're gonna get a 8-step home buying guide and a 6-step home seller guide. You can find me on Instagram at Nick Bush the Realtor, and our company's Instagram page is the Address DMV. And then Tamara, tell them where to find you.
Always do this to me. T_D_Homes is on the Instagram. That's where you can find me. Did you already say the Address DMV?
Yeah, well, you can say it again.
Address DMV on Instagram, and Real Estate Explained Podcast on Instagram.
Swag is so nice, I had to say it twice. Where can they find you at, Coach Marcus?
At Mortgage Coach Marcus, at Fields Mortgage Group, on all your social platforms.
Awesome. And I am Dan Wheeler, sells homes on all platforms. Thank you for tuning into the Real Estate Wire. All of us here, we are out.